Okay, good morning. Let me know that you can hear me, folks, and see the green screen. We'll get started. Okay, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Personal Income Spending Report, 10-minute trades, trade room. Let me just turn on the streaming, which I always forget to do as early, especially because I wasn't planning on streaming this morning. Okay, so my name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-minute trades. Please remember that all the trades we take are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about personal spending and income. There's a fair amount of news on this report this morning. You've got wholesale inventories, retail inventories. Let's check something. They don't ring true as whether let me see if they're going to be included in this report. Investing.com has made quite a few errors in their calendars over the past year. I'm not so sure that we're going to see wholesale inventories and retail inventories as part of the report. I don't see it in Forex Factory. So Forex Factory is a secondary calendar that we use. And they've got the Pce Price Index. And what that is a lot of people don't know what that is. That is a consumption index. So it's tied to inflation. It has to do with the level of personal consumption in the United States. So if there's a lot of consumption, and it has to do with the pricing of the consumption. So if the pricing is up, there's more inflation. So it's an index of the pricing of the consuming that we're doing, essentially. It's a simple way to explain it. And on Forex Factory, I don't see the inventories. Let's do a double check and take a look at FX Street if it's easily available here. If not, we'll type it in. There it is. Okay, so what's interesting is they do have the inventories. They do have the inventories. Okay. So this is a brand new report for us to look at. You know, we're not trading it yet. I'm just watching it because anytime you have a report that's strong in inflation reaction, especially now when the market's real tuned into inflation, there's a possibility that the report can move the markets. So you do have the PCE consumption, and they are showing the wholesale inventories in FX Street. So that's 2 calendars out of 3 that are showing the inventories. But it's the income and the consumption and the spending that seems to be the stronger impact on this report. Okay. So look, sometimes you don't know yet because a report is new to you and you have to learn about it. So there's no embarrassment to learning about a report and seeing which data tends to drive the report. Nothing gets 3 stars. That doesn't always mean anything. Sometimes you can get 2 stars and still have an impactful move. Natural gas gets 1 star, and look at the way natural gas moves all the time. It moves very well. I just want to give everybody a heads up. I have to leave the second this report is over. I have to get out of town for an appointment, and I can't be late. So, and this is a test report, so there's not real money being traded on this report. Otherwise, I would not do that. This is our last trade room of the week. Next week is a much busier week. It's kind of an interesting week. I'll show you what's going on real quickly. So here's what we got next week. Now, I'm going to have a late trade room Monday night, a short trade room though, because if I have to trade a trade room at 9:30 in the morning and then turn around and do a trade room at 9:30 at night, 9 at night, that's 12 hours. That's a long trading day. It's really hard to do a long trade room when I'm that tired. But a quick hit trade room and a possible trade, Chinese manufacturing, non-manufacturing. It's the big brother to the night after the Caixin report. Okay, the Chinese Caixin report has become a smaller mover than the manufacturing, non-manufacturing report. So I've been bugging my boss to give us a DMM for this Chinese manufacturing report. I'm hoping that we get one. We do have Chicago PMI on Tuesday, CB Consumer Confidence on Tuesday. We have API, family money, and Australia quarterly GDP, family money. ADP on Wednesday has been a family money. Now, unfortunately, it's been trading smaller and smaller as the months go by. It did have one very good recent report. So I am looking for another index, possibly on ADP. And I have a good idea. I'll test it over the weekend. Final services, ISM services on Wednesday also. Crude oil on Wednesday, natural gas Thursday. U.S. jobs report Friday is a big one. And then final services and ISM services Friday also. What's interesting is ISM services, and I have to fix this, the schedule. This should be ISM manufacturing. And this would be final manufacturing. That comes first. Okay. ISM manufacturing. And then anytime I make a change like that, you can see it on the calendar. Forex Factory next Wednesday. Just have to remember to hit the arrow so you get the next week. And then Wednesday, we've got ISM. Hold on. Today is the 27th. Chicago PMI. ADP. See, ISM manufacturing, final manufacturing. All right. And then Friday, it used to be called ISM non-manufacturing. Now it's called ISM services and final services. What I was going to say is those reports used to be what we used to call prime trades, and they haven't been moving and behaving as well as they used to. But we do have some alternative setups for them now. So I'll be doing a lot of work this weekend on some of those reports for the upcoming week to see if they're worth trading in the smaller account or not. So next week we'll be busy. We'll be busy at least 4 money trades. And then, of course, I think natural gas is on the verge of people want to take the risk. I think natural gas is a real possibility for being worth taking a money trade till you get killed, right? And then everyone will want to absolutely destroy me and say, why are you making natural gas a family money trade? So it's a tough decision, right? Very tough decision. I think the way it's trading now, it should be a family money trade. The problem, as I've said before, is you do want to trade 2 to 3 contracts, which does give you a fair amount of risk. That's the issue. Fair amount of risk. So I would like to see what you have to say about that. What do you think? Do you want to make natural gas a family money trade? All right, let's take a look at, I've got 2 personal income reports that we started looking at last month. It did not work. I think I probably tried trading it live a little bit early. I think we have to keep an eye on it for a couple of months and see if it's worth trading. Well, I'll tell you what, let's look at the previous month first. The previous month, we did not have a trade room for this report. Like I said, it's brand new. We've just started looking at it. So the clock you're looking at is the replay clock, the playback clock in NinjaTrader. And the news came out, was a little bit mixed. But what's interesting is that if the price index is down, and this is something to consider on this report, if the price index is down, it means inflation is lower. And if income is up, that's good news. So inflation lower is generally good news. So maybe mixed reports on this particular report might not be such a bad thing. So we may have to carefully look at the way we analyze this news when we have the report. So it happened to work very nicely in June. And then July, there was an extra quarterly report, employment wages and the employment cost index. I think in July, there might have been a little bit too much news. And again, it's also a report we don't know that well. So I think we have to learn this report by testing it. So I got filled. And it was not a super fast fill. The news comes out, you get filled to the upside. It looks like it's going to work. And then it just does a quick reversal. It wasn't a problem with the bracket size. The bracket went well past the end of it. Well past the size of the bracket was gone through. Now you had that mixed, potentially mixed news. The personal income was up. And you had that quarterly report that was negative. And that may have cost caused a change in direction on the report. So that quarterly report is obviously not on the docket today. You've got the price index, personal income and spending, and then you have another monkey in the room, though: real inventories and wholesale inventories. Bear with me. Let's see if there's a good description. Retail inventories, not real inventories. So I would assume that they're looking for the pricing of goods. So unfortunately, they don't give a good explanation, but that's what I believe they're looking at. They don't count autos. In most of the tests and most of the reports, they leave some of the big items out, like automobiles. So there's a fair amount of news elements in one report. And that always makes trading tricky, because what you're dealing with is you don't always get a release of the data together. And that's why you want to be especially careful if you decide to trade live. So what Mark is saying, economic indicators included in this report are advanced U.S. international trade in goods, advanced monthly wholesale inventories, and advanced monthly retail inventories. Now, if you look at the way that they're labeling the wholesale inventories, it's too bad. Usually they describe them. There we go. Hold it. Wholesale inventories measures the change in the total value of the goods held in inventory by wholesalers. So exactly what I was thinking. The value, if the prices are up, it's inflationary. If the prices are down, it's not inflationary. All right, so you've got the other reason you don't want to jump into trading this type of report live is you're not really sure in the beginning that you have the absolute correct settings. And even you have to make sure that you're trading the right index. So you have to watch a variety of different indexes. It's like the webinar we had 2 weeks ago, finding your own trades. You've got to test different indexes. It's like the research that I'll do on the ADP report this weekend. I'll test bonds because bonds have a tendency to move on important job type data. Gold could move. ES could possibly move. Those are indexes that you look at. Gold we know moves because that's the index we trade on the ADP report. Now, the settings that I've been testing on personal income, put my recorder on. Okay, so I've been looking at a bracket of 6. And I've been looking at targets, 2 contracts. So you have position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. And I'm looking for 4 ticks and 12 ticks on my targets. And I'm looking for a 10-tick stop. And then I'm looking for an entry time. It's an 8:30 report. 8:29:59. And remember, folks, I have to rush out of here, so forgive me this morning. I never usually do that. 8:29:59 is my order time, activation time, entry time. Trading gold, GC, 12:21. Now, I have been thinking that personal income and spending is the most important element to this report because it's the U.S. and it's all about consumers in the U.S. It's always all about consumers. That doesn't mean I'm totally right yet. We have to watch these reports. Now, the interesting thing, so you have gold opening at 8:20. So I'm listening to Financial Juice in the background. A lot of you know that besides investing.com, we also use the website Financial Juice Pro. Pro is not free. It's not super expensive. What Pro gives you is an undelayed news feed, an undelayed squawk box. To get a squawk box for a reasonable price is a bonus. Squawk boxes used to cost a fortune, hundreds and hundreds of dollars each month. Don't forget to enable your trade. Also, don't forget to check your time sync, right? We check our sync. We go to the website time.is. It puts my computer in sync. And we always say 100 times that we do have tools as part of the trade room. If you look at your trade room taskbar up top, this is the trade room taskbar. In this drive, it's called Room Drive, there are programs. And two of them are time sync programs. One of them is called D4 Time, that's dimension 4, and the other one is Atomic Clock. Download them, scan them for viruses, even though I already did. It's always safe. Anytime you download something from someone, scan it before you install it. And Atomic Clock and or Dimension 4 will help to sync your computer if going to the website time.is does not help. Then what you do, then go to the website time.is and check your sync from Atomic Clock, for instance. And you can make sure that your secondary tool got you in sync. Because nothing works quite the way that time.is works. You just click on the website and bingo, it tries to put you in sync. It's very unique, very unusual. So there's always a collection of tools that you're going to have in any job that you do, whether you're a trader or a plumber or a car mechanic. It's very important to have your tools lined up and ready to go. It's no different with trading. So what are your tools? Everybody's got favorite tools. What's your favorite tool? How about typing in what your favorite tool is that we don't use? What's a favorite tool that you use in your trading that we don't use? Maybe there's other tools we should be using. Now, Mark uses something called Tick Strike on the Financial Juice Pro website. It's a audio indicator that lets you hear orders on an index. So in other words, if you're trading gold, Tick Strike has a direction, and then you can physically hear an audio signal giving you the strength of the orders coming in. And he's using not the trial version, as he's saying on the website, but they have a full-blown version that gives you quite a few different indexes that you can hear whether traders are buying or selling the index. And it's a great way, if you're a discretionary trader, to help you stay in a trade. It's one of the best. Mark, would you say, I know that you think it's the best discretionary indicator you've ever used. Would you agree with that assessment? It's probably the best discretionary trading indicator you've ever used. Tick strike, the full version. You can hear how the indexes are trading, which is pretty amazing. And what is it, about $89 a month, Mark? Am I right about the price? It's about $89 a month. That's kind of interesting. I just noticed something that I've never noticed before. Canada PPI is trading this morning. It's kind of interesting because US PPI has an effect on the US market. Okay, you got it as a lifetime member. Gotcha. So nobody else out there has a tool that they use? All the people in here and market tool that they use? No one else? AM, you like it too? Got some pre-report volatility. Jackson Hole's going on too, and they're interviewing a lot of people. You always want to be careful when there's a big financial expo like Jackson Hole going on if you're a discretionary trader. It can definitely affect market behavior. And you may not always know why, depending on what news feeds you're listening to. That's why extra news feeds are never a waste of money if they're good. For the way we trade, the more news feeds that you can afford to subscribe to, the more helpful tools related directly to orders coming in and out is very helpful for the way that we trade. So we got a couple of minutes. We checked our time multiple times. It could be that this report is not a consistent report. We don't know that this is a consistent report yet. There is a fair amount of elements that make up this particular news. In other words, I have not seen it trade with much less news than what's available right now. In other words, there's quite a few elements to the report which could create a chaotic result. So it could be a report that we just might not trade because it may not have steady responses to the events. But there's never any harm in spending time and looking for new reports to trade. I mean, I'm always looking for new reports to trade. All right, so we got 45 seconds. So remember, folks, I'm going to shoot out of here, and then we'll be back next Monday at 9:30. And a busy week next week. Definitely a busy week. 15 seconds. So we want to look at some things. Does the news all come out at the same time? How's our bracket size? Does a bracket of 6 make sense? So you don't get all the news coming at once. It seems, yep, it shot out at once. Not much of an impact. Okay, you've got matching data. I would probably, I'm going to let it play out because it's not real money, but you have matching news, but personal income is quite positive. Personal spending is matching, a lot of matching elements today. Look at the move though. Look at that. That's a normal. That gave you a news move. Now you want to protect your profit, right? So you try to protect your profit and a reversal. So one thing we saw 2 weeks in a row, 2 months in a row, where you had a quick move and then a quick reversal. So we'll keep an eye on this report. We'll keep an eye on this report for the type of behavior that we're seeing. This might be a trap trade, okay? It might be that we want to test this as a trap trade. So I want to say, everybody, have a great weekend. I said I have to run. I really do have to get going. We can analyze this Monday and talk about it. We'll trade it again next month. Quick reversal, did the same thing last month. So I'll see everybody. Have a great weekend. And I'll see everybody Monday at 9:30. Okay, folks? So thanks for watching the stream, everybody. Take care. See you next week. So long, everybody.